Somebody asked me the question in the past week, how does sitting somewhere quiet and meditating for a few minutes each day, how does that translate to being able to find life more easier? How does that translate to being able to navigate through difficult situations or handle difficult emotions? Which is a really good question. So I thought, instead of just going somewhere really quiet, that I could just do it outside the front of my house, where there are cars and lorries and vans and motorbikes all going by. Because obviously it's not about living in outward silence that is going to lead to us feeling relaxed, because our lives never are much, outwardly silent. But the thing that meditation addresses is that the main noise that we experience is the noise of our thinking. And from that place, then, it doesn't really matter where we sit, to try to come to a place of allowing everything that is busy and loud to move to a place of being at rest and silence. And it struck me that the cars that come and go, they're quite noisy, and you have no control over when they're going to come. And in that way, they're a bit like thoughts that appear in your mind. So they just appear, and they do their thing, and then at some point they disappear. So when we come to sit and meditate, wherever that is, then the real trick is, to begin with, is to allow everything to be just as it is. So that we can find the peacefulness, the peaceful place within all that. It means that we are not trying to fight everything. It's not like we're rushing out onto the road and putting the cones out, stopping all the traffic coming by, in order to be at peace. It would be far better to be able to be at peace with all the things that are coming and going. And that's really going to be useful at the beginning as we try to meditate, because when we do decide, okay, today's the day, it's not my microphone off, today's the day, and I'm going to sit down and do 5 minutes meditation. If we could really easily set ourselves up to fail at that, if we said, okay, I want to sit down and I want to be calm and relaxed. Because what if your mind is like that all the time? Things are just, instead of it being a quiet lane, what if your mind's like a motorway, or an 8-lane freeway in the States with cars, constant traffic? How are you ever going to decide you're going to sit for 5 minutes and find peace and find relaxation straight away? No, it just wouldn't be possible. So to begin with, the real trick, the real trump card, is to say, well, I'm just going to be okay however things are. I'm just going to let things come and go as they please, because at the moment I can't do anything to alter how things are. And instead I could just sit here. I could just sit here and I can be aware of all the noise, the things constantly coming and going, the thoughts, you could say, constantly coming and going in my mind. So that was quite a big thought that just went by. It's a massive articulated lorry. And I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to let everything do its thing. I'm going to let everything be just as it is, because that's the real secret to finding peace outside of the quiet space that you might choose to sit down in. It's the key to finding that place which is not in reaction to how things are, which means that when you practice finding that in meditation, you will be able to find it more easily when some situation crops up in your life where things get very fast and other people may be losing their cool around you. So what does that look like in terms of meditation? Well, in meditation what we're looking to do is to choose to place our attention somewhere. In fact, we're choosing to place our attention somewhere other than in our head, in our mind, in the middle of the stream of thinking. And there's a variety of different places that we can choose to place our attention. We could just sit here and just allow everything to be as it is. But, of course, most people's default setting, the place that they just are most of the time, the place that you are most of the time, even whether you're aware of it or not, is in thinking or commenting. And the commenting mind could get fed up pretty soon when all it's experiencing is noise and a lack of stillness, a lack of relaxation. It could get frustrated, annoyed, and then not far before we get angry, because things aren't the way we would like them to be. But you may well have heard that the only two things that we can really control are our actions and our thoughts. And it does take a little bit of practice to get to the place where our thoughts aren't problematic. And the way that we take the first step out of problematic thinking is to choose to place our attention somewhere else. So we could choose just to place our attention in just what is, but the problem with that is that we would become distracted fairly soon. We'd have something to say about something that occurred in our lives, and as soon as we have something to say on it, as soon as we have some comment about it, or some opinion about it, it means that we're up here again, we're back in the thinking mind, in the realm of mental activity. And as soon as we're up here, as soon as our attention has come up here, then it's really easy for it to get lost here. And it's just like we're just staring at the screen of our mind, and we're lost in thought. So instead of just expecting that we could just sit down and just be with what is, it's going to be the case that we're going to have to choose to place our attention in a particular place. And one of the particular places that we could choose to place our attention is following our breathing. We can choose that, because our breathing is always now, it's always happening now. So when we join up our attention with something that is always now, then we bring ourselves into the here and now, and we give ourselves access to the peace that is always here. We've had a look at that. We had a look at that in the last broadcast. And another place that we could look at is if we paid attention to how our body is feeling, because particularly as soon as we close our eyes and tune into the body, our body, there's some sensation there. I can feel the underside of my leg in contact with the chair. I can feel my feet on the ground. I can feel the sun on my face. These are body sensations. Excuse me, and they're always present. But I thought today what would be really good would be to use sounds as the thing which keeps our attention in the present moment. So the way that we do that is that we just allow the sounds to be there. We just sit in this quiet, still place within ourselves, and we let all the sounds just come and go. And we pay attention to them, but without losing ourselves in them. So this being aware of sounds enables us to know that we're here in the present moment. I don't know if the microphone's picking up, but there's the sounds of birds. They sound like crows or jackdaws. So if you'd like to join me, just sitting wherever you are, just in the still space that you are sitting in, and just allow your attention to be aware of whatever sounds are available to you, whatever sounds your ears are hearing. Could be through this broadcast, through this video, or it might be in your actual surroundings. But as we tune into the sounds, we can see that the sounds appear and then they disappear. But obviously you don't. You are the constant that's here. This awareness or this attention which is aware of the sounds, that doesn't go away and it doesn't change either. You could say we're just like tuning into the microphone of our ears, and that microphone doesn't have anything to say about what it hears. It just registers the sounds. So we can use the tuning into sounds to bring us into the here and now. We can be with the sounds moment by moment. In fact, cars are so good for that because they begin really small, they get louder, but then the sounds within them changes moment by moment, and they reach their full volume, and then they start to change, and then they get softer and softer. So just listening for the very beginning of the next sound that you're aware of, and just staying with that sound moment by moment, without having anything to say about it. Just resting in this still place within yourself. Not waiting, but just being here. Probably won't get another car come by now. Here we go. So I don't know about you, but maybe you had some thought about it, just some little disturbance in your mental state around that sound, or maybe not. But there's the practice that we can engage with any time you're outside, standing or sitting somewhere. You can just tune into the sounds around you and be aware of them moment by moment. There's the sound of birds cheeping. There's the sound of a buzzing something. I can hear the sounds of the wind in the grass here. The sounds of the vehicles. And everything changes except me. Me, the one who is just sitting here as this, just being aware. I'm not doing anything. There's just this awareness, as there is for you. There's just this awareness of sounds. And this you that's just sitting here listening to these words or the sounds around you, that doesn't come and go. That doesn't change. That is always here. This is the part of you that is always here, that doesn't change with external circumstances. And this tuning into the sounds is just a way, just a technique of allowing yourself to contact this aspect of you at this deeper level, so that you can allow everything just to come and go. But not in a reactive way. A way which you still have choice over your thoughts and you still have choice over your thoughts and your actions. And when you have those choices available to you, you'll be able to choose wisely what it is that you think and say. And that's how this practice of sitting just quietly by yourself translates to experiencing life in an easier way. So I wish you all the good luck with that, all the good luck with your efforts to actually press the pause button on your life for 5 minutes and just sit down and pay attention to the sounds around you.